Good day. Now this video is about creating arrays. Now an array is where you have several copies of a shape that you already have included in your drawing area. Now these copies are actually made in different forms. You have rectangular shapes, a polar, or a path array. Now, when you want to create an array, of course, array is found in the modify section. So you simply click on, you must have the shape you want to create the array of. So you click on array here. So you have three different types of arrays: rectangular, path, polar. So you click on the rectangular array. See your command window says select your objects. So you're going to click on the object that you want to make the array of, and you simply press enter. And there you have your rectangular array. Now we have some options here, some grips here for you to use. Also, as soon as you click the array, you see you have the array ribbon appearing to the top. Now this arrow here allows you to actually add more rows going up, so you can actually create more copies there. This arrow here lets us increase or decrease the space between the rows in our array. This arrow here lets us add more copies going via your columns. As you can see, this arrow here lets us increase or decrease the space between the columns. This square here allows us to actually move the array. And this square here lets us actually add more rows and columns at the same time. So you can add plenty more copies of the rectangle. Now these are the options here to make some changes to the array. Now these things can also be done up here, because you can increase your columns here, increase your rows, increase the space between your rows, the space between your columns, and then you now have something called associative. The reason why we can actually move this array around and all these shapes are moving is because the shapes are associative. If you don't want your array to be associative, let's say you wanted plenty copies of the shape, an array will give you that, and then you want them to be individual shapes. What you have to do is take off the associative option. You press enter. When you click now, you see the shapes are actually individual. So that is a rectangular array. Now a polar array is a circular one. Now when you want to create a polar array, you must have two shapes: the shape that you want to make the copy of, and you must also have a circle, because that is what the array is going to be based on. So you see we have here our shape to copy and the circle that we want to make the polar array on. So again, you come out to the array and you're going to click on polar array. You see it says select the object, which is this object here that you wish to copy. You press enter. Now it says to specify the center point of the array, meaning clicking on the circle here. And as you click, you see you have your copies in a circular fashion. So once you want to use the polar array, you must have the shape you want to copy, you want to create the array on, and you must have the circle that you want to use as well. So that's the polar array. The next option is the path array. The path array, like the polar array, you need two shapes: the shape you want to make the array of, and then the path you want it to follow. Now the amount of shapes that come in your polar array and in your path array depends on two things: the size of the shape with your path array, the size of the shape and the length of the path, and with the polar array, the size of the shape and the size of the circle. So to create a polar array is just like creating a path array. You come up to the array command, click on path array. You see select the objects. You're going to click on the rectangle you wish to copy. You press enter. Now you have to select the path. So you're going to click on the spline here, and there you see you have your path array. So those are the three different array options: the rectangular array, you have the polar array, and you have the path array. Now let's say, okay, you wish to make some changes to your objects, you can simply select them and make whatever changes. You can actually do stretch, add vertex, convert to arc, and so on. You can actually do a number of changes to all of your objects that you have in your array. In our next video, we are actually going to be looking at the explode command.